Welcome fight fans to my channel. This is Johnny, and today we're going to be going over the statistics that nobody talks about when mentioning a potential fight between Tim Tszyu and Vergil Ortiz. Alright guys, we know all of the action that's going on in the Middle East. We know the money that's being thrown around boxing by the Saudis. It was only a few months back to where speculation was, are they only going to do this for heavyweight boxers? But as time has passed, we know that answer is no. I woke up this morning in Sydney to the news that sources are reporting, Mike Coppinger, ESPN.com, that they are close to finalizing a deal for Tim Tszyu versus Vergil Ortiz on the undercard of Terence Crawford versus Israil Madrimov this August in Los Angeles. So today we're going to do a video and unpack both fighters' resumes, specifically their last five. We're going to add up their opponents' win-loss records and come up with a statistic we call strength of schedule. Before we get there, let's talk a little bit about Tim Tszyu. We know he's coming off a close split decision loss to Seb Fundora. We know Tim Tszyu suffered a really bad cut by an inadvertent elbow in the clinch by Fundora, and the rest of the fight was a bloodbath. Some people saw Tszyu winning, some people gave it to Fundora. We know the judges and the cards and the history books have Fundora and new 154-pound champion. Tszyu goes back to the drawing board. He's posted online over the recent week. The stitches, 10 of them, have healed up, and he's ready to fight. So the fight with Ortiz makes sense, but let's talk about Vergil. He's fighting this weekend against Thomas Dulorme. It's going to be one of these gauge fights. Dulorme, on his resume, he's seen better days. He's fought some big names, but every time he takes that step up, it doesn't go his way. People are predicting Vergil Ortiz to continue his illustrious knockout streak. He currently sits at 20-0 with 20 knockouts. So another one against Dulorme will improve that to 21-0. Let's take a closer look at Tim Tszyu. Some statistics we already know about Tszyu. He is 24-1 with 17 knockouts. He holds a career 71% knockout to win ratio. He's currently ranked number 4 in the world in the 154-pound division. He's 29 years old, standing at 5'9" with a 71-inch reach. The orthodox fighter is a proud Australian, and his fans call him the Soul Taker. Now let's look at his last 5 fights, starting with that Sebastian Fundora fight. Fundora was 20-0, split decision loss. Mendoza 22-2, UD in the 12th. Ocampo 35-2, knockout in the first. Harrison 29-3, knockout in the 9th. Gausha 22-2, UD in the 12th. Let's grab our calculators. What we'll get is a combined record of 123 wins with 10 losses over Tim Tszyu's last 5, giving his opponents a 92% strength of schedule. He is 4-1 with 2 knockouts over his last 5. We know Tszyu wants to fight the best fighters in the world. We know he's been one of the most active at 154. And when we talk about Vergil Ortiz, this is something that gets brought up. We know about his weight cutting issues. We know about his health issues. Let's take a closer look at Vergil's resume. Some statistics about Ortiz. We already know he is 20-0 with 20 knockouts, giving him a shiny 100% knockout to win ratio. He's currently ranked number 2 in the world at 154 pounds. At 26 years old, he stands 5'10" with a 70-inch reach. The orthodox fighter is a proud Texan, and he currently holds the WBA Gold World Super Welterweight strap. Over his last 5 fights, he's fought Lawson, 30-3, knockout in the first. McKinson, 22-0, knockout in the 9th. Mean Machine, 22-1, knockout in the 8th. Hooker, 27-1, knockout in the 7th. Vargas, 31-5, knockout in the 7th. Grabbing those calculators, we get a combined record of 132 wins with 10 losses, giving Vergil Ortiz a 93% strength of schedule over his last 5. He is 5-0 with 5 knockouts. The reason why this matchup is so interesting to fight fans, obviously when you put both fighters side by side, Vergil's going to be a little bit taller, he's a little bit younger, Tim has a little bit bigger of a reach. A lot of those factors cancel out. The component that I feel is interesting now is we have to talk about how Tim Tszyu is going to rebound from his first loss. We also have to see, and only time will tell, will that cut on the top of the head reopen? Will it be an issue? It's not one of those spots. It's not like an orbital cut, which over a fighter's career will keep reopening, or an eyebrow. I don't think that'll be an issue again in Tim's career. How will he respond psychologically to the pocket? How will he respond psychologically to the firefight? And we know that this is Tim Tszyu's wheelhouse, and we're excited because this is exactly how Vergil Ortiz fights as well. Ortiz isn't a natural 154 pounder. Maybe he should have been his entire career, but we know he only has a few fights there. So this should be mentioned, him carrying his weight, getting used to fighting top fighters in the world. And when people talk about Vergil, the knock on him has always been, where's his resume at? Who's he fought? And also his activity. Unfortunately, health issues have held Vergil Ortiz back, but the good news is he is only 26 years old, and boxing is a sport that we always say, what have you done for me lately? He handles business this weekend against Thomas Dulorme, which he should, going into this clash in August in LA on the undercard of Crawford versus Madrimov. Both fighters will have an opportunity to be showcased at the highest level, and you'd have to think the winner would get the winner of Madrimov and Crawford. How does this play out? How do you guys see the fighters compared side by side? And if this does get finalized, which like I said at the beginning, it looks to be getting close, who are you cheering for? Tszyu or Ortiz? Let me know in the comment section below.